Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you so much again for joining me for today's lecture. We're going to look into artificial intelligence and, of course, the big data management, data analytics, and data analysis. So let's go over different definitions first, and then we're going to look into the interaction between these different tools, technologies, and, of course, different contents that we have. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the AI or artificial intelligence, talking about the machine learning and deep learning. We all know that computers, softwares, they are all having different instructions to follow. The set of those instructions is called an algorithm. So when we are going to have a type of interface in front of us for writing some codes, or even clicking on a button that is already associated with the execution of an already programmed code, we are going to have a type of input. So the input now may be a text, a letter, it may be a color, it may be a shape, it may be music, it may be again any type of data that we may have. And then this input is going to be processed by the set of instructions within the computer system, and those set of instructions is called an algorithm. Now you understand very well that if we are having a higher number of algorithms, we are going to have more precisions, we are going to have much more iterations and much more decisions that are being made through, I would say, different instructions given by the computer. And now we can now add different layers in order to, I would say, process the information. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now let's talk about the generative artificial intelligence. Okay, this refers to a subset of deep learning that is focused on creating content. Now, the content can have different shapes, different, I would say, versions. It can be text, picture, song, etc., etc. This could be anything from text, of course, images, and the algorithms or the set of instructions that are executed by your program, the computer. They are designed to learn the patterns and structures from the input data. And of course, when we talk about training of the artificial intelligence system, we are talking about giving more data to that system so that the system is now going to find the patterns, and this is how the system is going to, I would say, we call that learning. So now we understand that the ability of an artificial intelligence system is based also on the volume and the accuracy of the data and the information that we already exposed this system to. Now what we get at the end, we call that the output. We are going to look into generating new information, new text, new images, new data, new, I would say, trends. And this is exactly what we are going to talk about today related to the use of artificial intelligence and the big data analysis. And of course, when we talk about the big data analysis, we will have to talk about data analytics and data analysis systematic approach as well. Now let's talk about data. What is big data? Big data is a field focused on managing large amounts of data from a variety of sources. So we will always talk about the volume, but the big data is not just a volume, which is the amount of data being collected through surveys, through different tracking systems, etc. It's also the velocity or the speed. Here we talk about the rate at which data is received and acted upon. Reception, because we may have data that we are constantly receiving, like you going to on internet, you're going to be constantly followed by different, I would say, systems where the system is going to write down from which IP address you accessed, which web pages, which pages you saw. Everything is logged. And this is the velocity. I mean, it's so fast and the rate is so high that we cannot just, again, having easily a way to look at the trends. And I would say that in addition to looking into trends, looking into the relationship in between the trends that we observe when we are looking into a data. We will go over these, of course, in the next slides. We also talk about variety or different forms of data collected. Because as you understand, we are not just going to type, we're also going to have tracking system, we're also going to have pictures with cameras, we're going to have microphones, so some sound, we're going to have different types of data where there is a type of relationship in between data. We can have different data sets as well. And I would say overall, we can talk about the volume, velocity, and variety of data when we talk about the big data. Now you may say, okay, we understand about the big data, but where it's coming from, how it's generated, who is generating the big data? We already talked about the 3 V's in the previous slide. So here we cannot see very well that we do have administrators, we have business users, we have data scientists, we have people who do business development, we have business analysts, developers, and executive leaders. And again, it can go on and on. This list of people who can develop and leverage big data. What is interesting is that we already had different repositories. Of course, 50, 60 years ago, we were having those repositories and we were having archives. Everything was written on the papers, for example, or sometimes on magnetic tapes as well, depending on the technology used at that time. And then with the technology that was, again, now growing, developing as well and advancing, we are now dealing with different types of, again, storage area, different types of now clouds that we can store the data. And this is where we are going to store what we call the big data. So different formats, high volume, and of course we're also talking about the rate with which we are collecting the data. And of course we have to store it. Now you understand very well that by looking into the slide in front of you, you can see that we are constantly receiving information from business users now on internet, on the roads, on the radio, on the TV, anywhere where we can track. And I can tell you that where we track is not just at home, it's not only outside, it's even your presence on internet as well. Same thing as well when we are dealing with your bank account, because as you know, everything is in digits. And when you are now doing any transaction, everything is logged. And this is data. And now that you understand that when you are going and using your credit card, when you are going online and calling someone, when you are going to go on YouTube and watching a video, everywhere we are having you as business users, we are having administrators on the other side of the system, we have leaders, executive leaders, business analysts, developers, again, data scientists who are all going to have access to the data that you just created because you have been using the system, so that we will be able to see the trends. What we want is just to find out the relationship in between different type of data and the trends. And we call that trend analysis. So this is why we are talking about the big data. And when we talk about the big data tools, we always talk about the, I would say, collection of the data, storage of the data, development, of course, of ways that we can get the data, monitoring the way that we get the data, and of course, visualizing the data that we collect. Now, what is artificial intelligence for big data management? Artificial intelligence for big data management is often referred to as AI in big data or AI for data analytics. It's a new term that we are going to explain as well. So, this is a fusion of two cutting edge technologies, or I would say mainly tools. The first one is the artificial intelligence, where we talked about algorithms, more complex algorithms, higher number of algorithms, higher, I would say, processing power of the computer. And then the second, again, technology or tool is the big data management. So the primary goal of the AI in big data management is to automate and enhance the process of data analytics, making it faster, accurate, and scalable for making business decisions. So you may say, okay, we would like to make business decisions, but are these the only factors? No, of course not. You have so many factors that intervene in the decisions that consumers they are making, in the decisions that business are making, that it's not just I would say a matter of using a very simple software or even a spreadsheet in order to understand different data. What I'm saying here is that even if we can now use the sophisticated AI in big data management tools, even if they may be very fast and being able to manage extremely huge number of data, we still need the human interaction because we are making those algorithms. You may now tell me, yes, but we also have the deep machine learning where the computer can also, again, work in an automated way and they don't need to have new algorithms. What I would like to respond to that question or comment is that no, we are going to create those set of instructions and we are going to submit them to computers that will then execute those set of instructions. For example, if you use the statistical software which is R, when you are doing a statistical analysis and you enter the code in order for the R system to execute the command and then to give you some results of a statistical test, it will not work. And it will need that you download and install the algorithm for execution of that specific statistical analysis. So now you understand very well that AI is limited by the limitation of its number and precision, of course, level of its algorithms. This is why we will continue to use AI, but we will also continue to update the algorithms. We will use it as a tool, not as a tool to make the decisions, but as a tool in order for us to create trends, to find the trends, to create reports, to visualize the data so that us humans, we can use the information for making business decisions. Now let's talk about the data analytics and data analysis. Because when we talk about the big data, we are going to talk about analytics and analysis. So data analytics is the broad field of using data and tools to make business decisions. So you have several types of tools in order to do the analytics. It may be observational, for example. It may be any other type of tool that you may have. But the one that I would like to talk about more is the systematic approach to do the trending, to look into how a data is moving, to look into the interaction in between different variables that will affect a decision made by a consumer, by a business, by the government, by any party, etc. And here we talk about data analysis, which is a subset of data analytics that includes specific processes. So what are those specific processes? There is a systematic approach when we are talking about data analysis. So what's the typical process of big data management and the role of the data analytics? Here you can see again a picture where we have the data management process, which is explained with some, I would say, some levels of explanation. So the first step in data management is the data acquisition, where it can be online, offline. It can be a data extraction from different systems, like in a hospital system. It can be optical character recognition, or OCR, where you have a scanner. Even now your phone or your smartphone can just take a picture. The picture is going to be again recognized. The characters are going to be recognized, and then you will be able to extract the text from a picture. You have also APIs, and you have, of course, the storage. Now, another step in data management is the data quality. Do we have a data which is clean? Do we have a data where it's really in between a specific margin that makes sense? So here we talk about activities for the data quality, where we talk about data cleansing, having standards in order to get the data, obtain the data. We talk about normalization, duplication, and data enrichment. We also have, and this is again very important section, is the data analysis, which is under the umbrella of data management process. The data analysis is composed of several, again, systematic techniques and approach that we're going to cover in the next slides. It's about indexing, about extraction of data. It's about the translation of data, looking into the trends and explaining the trends, doing the data classifications, doing the data triangulation, so making sure that the data that we have has been already validated by at least 2 or 3 other sources. And of course, we can, at the end of the analysis, we can look into the trend identification. So where are we going to be in 10 years, in 5 years, okay, based on, of course, the data analysis, based on the data that we get through the surveys, research, etc., tracking systems. And then we look at the trends, and then we are going to look into, okay, what are the likelihood or the probability for this trend to continue this way, or to go lower, or to go higher. But again, these are all different observations, but we need to visualize those analyses in order to be able to make decisions based on what we see, looking into the trends. And we also have data intelligence. This is where we do the visualization. This is where we do data integrations, and this is from where we are going to be able to make decisions and to create strategies in order to reach information, get the information from data. So as you understand, the process in between acquisition of data and production of information is called the data management process. Now, what is the typical process of data analysis within the big data management framework? So the data analysis process is a systematic process where we first define a question. We call that a research question. Then we create a hypothesis. This is in any research setting, that's what we do. And we are now going to look into collecting data in order to test our research hypothesis, hence responding to our research question. Once we have the data, we will need to clean the data because maybe there have been some errors, maybe again there are some duplications, maybe the data is biased. Sometimes again we have to check that as well. So these are different ways that we are going to clean the data in order to reach another level or step, which is to do data analysis. Once the analysis is done, we are going to use visualization tools. You can even use Microsoft Excel, for example. It's again something that everyone is using as well, but you also have many cloud-based programs that we can also use. And of course, we share the findings. Now, what are the typical techniques that we use in data analysis? And again, I would like to remind you that we are talking about the role of artificial intelligence in order to facilitate, to accelerate, to automate different processes that we use in the analysis of the big data. So for the last few slides, we have been looking into the definition of different, I would say, tasks involved in the big data management. We continued with data analytics and analysis. And here I'm just reminding you that when we are talking about the data analysis, we have to keep in mind where we can also use the automation, the precision, the fast processing, I would say, of the AI or artificial intelligence that we can use. So we have several data collection techniques. One of them is observation. You can also take pictures and again have an AI analyzing the picture. We can have interviews and focus groups. This one we cannot use AI unless we use AI for writing some questions or having draft questions where you as a human you are going to look into its suitability or suitability of each question, because we don't want to just ask a question for a question. If we have a research question, we would like to test our research hypothesis, so we need to write questions that make sense and they are going to allow us to do some analysis, to look into the trends, to visualize the data, then to make decisions that will help us to make business decisions. Now we can also collect the data through the social media with the monitoring. This is where you go to Instagram, Facebook, wherever you go, you're always going to be logged in. And once you're logged in, we can easily monitor, of course, again, what you have been doing, your activities. And obviously, this is also ethical because before going there, we are going to ask you that to accept the cookies, or we are going to expose you to some type of informed consent or some type of informational letter showing you or telling you that your data is being followed or it's kept. If you're okay, you continue with the website. If you're not okay, you don't go to the website. So this is also done ethically based on the ethical values as of today. And then we have online tracking. The same thing applies. You may not always be aware of all of the online tracking as well. So here again, you have some anti-trackers if you don't want to be tracked. But again, when you're using a specific software or a hardware, or even when you are even using an internet service provider, they may also tell you right in their contract that your data is tracked. And it's in fact all of our data is tracked anyways. And again here, when we get the online tracking as well, we are dealing with again high volume, very high velocity or high rate, and of course very variable. I mean, so many different types of data as well. So you see that we are really dealing with the big data, and we are using again our tools or AI tools in order to gather that in a fast way, a big amount of data, various format of the data, in order to give us the trends. So when I look into the customer satisfaction, for example, so what it was 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, what is now at this time, one based on the last 10 years, what should be or may be the trend in the next 2 years. That's how we use the data. So we use the data in order to look into the trends, to do some statistical analysis. And again, when you get some statistical information, okay, or I would say testing your hypothesis and it is true, it may not be the case in another country, another culture, of another topic. So we need to constantly do research analysis, and we need to constantly do the online tracking. Now we need to be able to, again, distinguish in between variables from where they are coming from, maybe which culture, which type of people, with which language, from which country are responding to what type of question. So you see, we can now distinguish and we can now segregate the data. We can do cluster analysis, and this is how we'll be able to get a better, more precise understanding of the trends in any market, in any country. So this is where the online tracking is helping us. This is where, with the big data that we have and with the power of the artificial intelligence, we will be able to manage a huge number of data that is coming at a very high rate, and it's also having various formats. Now you understand very well why we are talking about AI in big data management, in data analytics and analysis. Now let's go over the data analysis techniques. What is that exactly? When we would like to do the analysis of the data that we get, the big data, we need to do some statistical tests. Even if statistics is not an exact science, it gives us a convention. And we talk about the likelihood or the probability of an idea to be right or wrong. And here we are going to look into different analyses. I can give you the different names, like the regression analysis, the factor analysis, the cohort analysis, cluster analysis, or time series analysis. And again, we have so many of different types of analyses. We can also have correlation tests as well. We are dealing with, when you're dealing with one group of people, two groups of people, or when you're dealing with three groups of people, and you would like to compare the, or track, any change, any variation in that we are observing for any specific variable in those populations, we will need to have a different statistical test. So again, how we can use those, do those tests using the artificial intelligence, because it allows us to have an interim result, to do interim tests, interim statistical tests, and we can now look into the trends, and we can also look into the answers to our question. So as you see, again, AI is being used as an assistant, which is fast, which is accurate, can also manage a big number of data, various types of data. And again, this is what's happening now. So don't forget something, my friends. Wherever you go, as of last year, we are expecting you to know about AI. We are going to work with AI, but take it with a grain of salt. It means that know the limitations of AI. The limitation of an AI is its own producer or owner, is the number of algorithms, is the capacity of the system to manage data, to store the data. It's also the volume and the accuracy of the information that we are giving or provide to, the algorithm, so that they are going to look into the data and now looking into trends, giving you outputs based on the information that we gave them. Now, if we don't give enough information, or not accurate information, or not a clear or a clean data to an AI interface, obviously, when we have error in, we have error out. So if we have low quality of data in, we have low quality of reports out. So this is where we have to have a systematic approach when we are exposing AI systems or tools to specific set of data. Okay, so now what are the typical techniques used in data visualization? Here we are talking about different tools, but the first one that everyone is using is, again, Microsoft Excel. Okay, you see, you have bar charts, you have again maps, you have different types of scatter plots, lines, etc. And you also have online tools like QLink, Fusion Charts, DB, Zoho, IBM Watson, Infogram, Tableau, for example, Sisense, etc. These are all different data visualization tools. So usually employers, not only they are expecting us employees to again know about the AI, its limitation, but also its use and its extent of use. They are also expecting us to know about data, performing data analysis, knowing about the data, knowing about even grabbing the information or data collection, which is one of the pillars of data analysis. Our employers also, they are looking into having people who are curious, people who are again who learn about new techniques, those who know about systematic approaches that we use in order to do data analysis, people or employees who know about the data visualization tools so they can understand the question, look into what is needed to again look into a trend in I would say in any I would say topic, and then to learn how to collect the data, how to clean the data, store the data, use the data, and then to analyze the data, and then to run statistical tests or looking into correlational tests, for example, and then to visualize the data using visualization tools so that we can now make business decisions based on the data collected for that specific time within that specific sample size for that specific research question. This is why we talk about use of AI in the big data management. Now, what are different types of data analysis? You remember that we were talking about the data analytics, and then we talked about the fact that data analysis is just one of the pillars, I would say, or is part of the big data analytics. And we have four main types of data analysis. One of them is the descriptive data, where we talk about what happened, we explain, we give trends, we are looking into data triangulations, making sure that the data that we are describing or helping using to help us to describe is clean and accurate. We can also have another type of data analysis which is about the diagnostic. So why it happened? It's not a matter of what only, it's what but also why. We also have a predictive analysis where we look into the trends in the past, and then we are going to talk or show, or of course using visualization tools in order to show what is likely to happen in the future. And we also have perspective data analysis where we look into what is the best course of action. Of course, if you would like to go beyond again this slide, we can talk about the pestle analysis where we do the descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive data analysis. And in the pestle analysis, we are looking into several factors in the society like technology, social, environmental, etc. Technology as well. And then with the pestle analysis, we are, of course, at the end, talking about what is the best course of action. So pestle analysis is again one of the, I would say, the outputs, very important outputs of data analysis. Now, how big data and AI work together? We can talk about data collection. So collection of vast amounts of structured and unstructured data from various sources, including sensors, social media, customer interactions, and more. We can talk also about data storage and processing. So big data technologies facilitate the storage and processing of massive data sets, and this infrastructure ensures that the data is accessible and available for AI algorithms. Algorithms being a set of instructions that we give to the computer. And AIs are limited by the number of the algorithms. Okay, so higher is the number of algorithms, higher there's precision, and higher will be the adequacy of the answers that we get from AI, even if it's never, for now, we will not be able to replace humans. What else we can do with big data and AI is to do the data processing. So before AI can analyze the data, it often requires cleaning, transforming, and structuring the data. This is where we already talk about data analysis. We also have AI modeling, where machine learning algorithms include supervised learning for predictions, unsupervised learning for pattern recognition, and reinforcement learning for decision making. Another, I would say, point is training and inference. So AI models are trained on historical data to learn patterns and relationships. This is where I talked about the previous data or prospective data, and then we look at the trends, and based on the trends in the last 5 years, 10 years, we will be able to predict what may happen, not at 100% of course, but it's at least a type of trend analysis that we use, and we use it in many industries with the equipments. We look into, for example, the quality of the product that is being made by an equipment over a few months or a few years. And then when we see that the quality based on inspections of the product produced by the equipment is lower and lower, we know that we have to now start the repair or to change the equipment. But this decision, which is a business decision, is coming from the trend analysis based on our observation of the quality of a product made by a machine or an equipment over the last 5 years. Another point for the how big data and AI work together is the insight generation. So AI algorithms reveal hidden patterns that we may not have seen, anomalies, trends, and predictions from the big data, which can be used for various purposes, from improving products and services to optimizing business operations. Now, the use, where we use AI. First of all, we use it in the healthcare industry. So AI is used to analyze patient data, assist in diagnosing diseases, predict patient outcomes, even personalized treatments, and treatment plans or care plans based on individual health records. We can also look into the finance, where financial institutions utilize AI for fraud detection, algorithmic trading, credit risk assessment, and customer service chatbots. You may also be surprised positively that we can also look into the financial institutions, looking into your trend or the way, the pattern that you're using or spending. And then again, any third party or the government can easily look into the pattern of the spending of consumers. It allows us, of course, to look into the surveys, if ethical, of course, for now. And we can also look into controlling. For example, if you, one of the reasons why you see that we are now looking into having a digital currency, that's because we would like to be able to control more what are the transactions in the banks. And it allows governments or different third parties, big companies having access to data to see what's the pattern of the I would say of the consumption. Okay, I would not to go too much into detail about the digital, I would say, money and or currency, and I would say the tracking of the way or the pattern of our spending. But this is something that will come anyways. It's another use of AI. Okay, now pros or cons, I don't discuss that here, but just to let you know that this is coming. It's already being done, and it will be also another topic of discussion in the next years. We can also look into the retail, where we have AI-driven recommendation engines, personalized shopping experience, okay, optimize inventory management, and provide dynamic pricing strategies. We can also use it in manufacturing for predictive maintenance powered by AI. That's what I already talked about in a previous slide. We can also look into the marketing, so AI that enhances marketing campaigns by analyzing customer behavior, segmenting again, audiences and optimizing ad targeting. Now, we talk about AI, we talk about the big data, we also cover the data analytics and data analysis. We talk about different, I would say, techniques and processes for data analysis. We talk about the data visualization, and we at the end understood that we can use AI in the management of the big data in order to automate, make faster, and of course visualize better the trends in order to allow us to make better business decisions. But you may also say, but what are the challenges of AI in a workforce? It's not just using a program, using again a tool, and then to say to everyone or to expect everyone to use it because this is going to be the perfect tool. No, not at all. We have issues with the misinformation of the AI. You can easily manage or change the artificial intelligence algorithm so that when, for example, I am asking a question about, I would say, medical devices in Health Canada, for example, medical devices regulation, that the system shows me exactly whatever are the regulations, but at the end it will add another point where it is talking about a company that paid for the advertisement to the artificial intelligence company, okay, to change an algorithm so that each time that people they're asking about something in medical devices, the last point is always necessarily a comment about the company that is paying for the advertisement. I can tell you myself that it happens to me often, at least 2 or 3 times per day, when I am using, and again I tell you I use not one but several AI tools now. I still have that. So we have some misinformation, and again, I believe that personally, again, that's a personal belief, that is because of the advertisement. Okay, so we pay and we want to make money, so we are able to, of course, manipulate to some extent the algorithms. Not to some what extent it's logical, ethical, acceptable. I leave it to you. We don't know yet. We may not have all of the regulations for now, but personally, as a consumer, as a user, I don't accept it because I think it's not ethical. I'm asking you to give me a tool that I use, but on the other side, for the business, it's not ethical neither, because the business says that I'm giving you this for free, so I have the right to advertise. Now I may come back to say, look, you advertise, but don't advertise within the answer that you give me. Advertise on the side of the web page. Anyways, these are challenges that we are going to have. So challenges, one of them is ethical concerns. What should be there, what shouldn't be there. Okay, dependence and over reliance, because we have people who start to become lazy, intellectually lazy, because we say that, okay, it has already been done. If I want to write a speech, it's already there, so I'm not going to again write a speech. But this is not the case. We cannot replace everything with AI. And of course, another point is the loss of personal touch. And data privacy and security, this is exactly again what we have been always talking about. You don't know where the information is coming from. The Copyright Act is not always respected, even if this is law in Canada. And the data privacy depends again, data is where exactly, and where your AI interface has access to, can access, and then again, if the algorithm allows the AI interface to show the information. But again, we always have that question of data privacy and security. We also have other challenges like automation of tasks, transition again of challenges, dependency on AI, and shift in skill demand. As I already mentioned, we will expect you to be able to use AI in your next job. We will expect you also to understand the pros and cons and the limitations and strengths of the AI tools. And we have several AI tools as well. We are also going to look into our abilities to use the tool as an assistant for us, for drafting something, for looking into the, I would say, to look into the trends, to listen to a conversation, and then to give us the, I would say, the meeting minutes, for example. Okay, looking into a picture, doing the analysis, doing an inspection of a I would say of a manufacturing facility, and then to recognize errors or issues. This is where we are going. This is where we are now. Okay, but still there is a shift in skill demand, because as AI takes over routine or technical tasks, the job market may increasingly value skills that AI cannot replicate easily, such as creativity, emotional intelligence, and strategic thinking. But still, I tell you something else. Learn about AI tools, learn how you are going to use the tool, learn about each tool's strengths and I would say weaknesses. Okay, because wherever we go, we will be dealing with AI, like what happened with calculators in 1980s. Okay, 1975, we also had the first calculators, and it came to stay. AI came to stay. It's a tool that we need to learn about, and again, we will continue to use that as well. Now, the challenges of the workforce is, first of all, preparing employees, talking about AI, what it can do, what are the limitations, what are the tools out there, what they need to use. Employees and even executives, everyone, we need to know about what are the tools out there, what are the possibilities, and what are the limitations. So everyone should understand that AI is not here to replace us, but to accelerate processes, allowing us to spend less time searching in Google. Okay, giving us the meeting minutes in 20 seconds, not us using, I know, taking 1 hour to write the meeting minutes after a meeting. So these are the services that we can use. And again, when we get the output, we need to test it, check it. We cannot just accept any output of AI as it is, even for the trends as well. So this is important. The other thing which is important is about the interpersonal skills, because employees are going to become lazy. There's a chance, intellectually lazy, and then we may now it may affect also future skills that employees they will need to use, but they are not going to get there because they're going to ignore that. They say that, you know what, it's okay, AI is going to do the job. I'm just going to provide some type of document, and again, I'm done. No, it's going to reduce the quality of the job. It's also reducing the creativity. And when we are not creative, it's not you and your job, it's the entire company within an industry, within a country that is going to be affected. So we need to make everyone recognize that yes, we have this tool, yes, we can copy, paste, etc. But we have issues, we have challenges, we have ethical challenges, and we also have industrial and creativity challenges with AI. So even if we can use AI in the management of the big data, in the analysis and analytics, still we will need to keep that creativity. So if you would like to know more about about creating even an AI, an artificial intelligence, I would say machine interface, you can go to this website, okay? You can go to teachablemachine.withgoogle.com, and you can start, again, it's free as well, just start to look into how it works. By building a teachable machine, you will be able to understand, okay, what is the data, what's the big data, what are the algorithms, how you are going to set different I would say strengths of the machine that you're going to learn. So this is a very, very interesting and good start for people who would like to learn more about the AI. And of course, in conclusion, we looked into the big data. We know that the data is coming from the public, sensors, structured data coming from different databases. They may be unstructured data as well from different trackers. And the data is now going to be refined, and then it's going to be structured, it's going to be linked to each other, and then we are going to go over the synthesis and enhancement of the data. This is what we call data analytics funnel. And then we are going to do the data analysis and data visualization, where within the results we'll be able to look at the benefits of the AI and the big data analysis and analytics, where we will see a cost reduction, faster and better decision makings by humans, and of course new products and services. Because when we have more time and we have more budget and more time to be creative, we are definitely going to again have new products, new services, and again everything is coming from the AI and the big data analysis and analytics. So I just want to thank you so much again for joining me for today's lecture. I hope that you enjoyed the lecture, and I wish you all again a great day. Thank you so much.